If you've ever used new date and got weird results, this tutorial is for you. You'll learn everything about JavaScript's date object, from creating and formatting dates to handling time zones, fixing confusing outputs, and using the best libraries that make it painless. Whether you're building a calendar, a logging system, or just tired of seeing 1970 in your console, this video will make dates finally make sense. Let's start with the JavaScript date object. Every single date in JavaScript begins from one moment in history, January 1st, 1970 at midnight UTC. Think of it as the Big Bang of JavaScript time. We call this moment the Unix Epoch, or simply epoch time. From that moment on, every passing millisecond has been counted forward. Now that you know where all time begins in JavaScript, let's see how to actually create your own dates. There are 4 main ways to do it, and depending on which one you use, the results can look very different. Let's start with new date. Just type this and it will give you the current date and time from your local machine. Pretty simple, but that's only the starting point. The date constructor can take different kinds of inputs. The second way is to give JavaScript the date components manually. You can provide the year, month, day, hour, minute, second, and millisecond, each as a separate number, like this example. And you don't have to provide all the components. Anything you leave out automatically defaults to 0. So you can provide just the year, month, and day, but there's a catch. From this input, you might expect October 28th, 2025, but months in JavaScript start at 0. That means 0 is January, 1 is February, all the way up to 11 for December. You might notice it logs the 27th instead of the 28th, but it's not because days start at 0 like months. This shift comes from time zones, and we'll uncover that later in this video. One more useful detail: weekdays are 0 base 2. Sunday is 0, Monday is 1, Tuesday is 2, even if your week usually starts on Monday. Now let's look at another approach, creating dates from strings. You can create a date by simply writing something like this. That's using the ISO 8601 format, which is the universal date format in JavaScript, where the T separates the date from the time. This format is reliable because it follows a strict standard, so whether you're in New York, Madrid, or Tokyo, JavaScript knows exactly what you mean. But humans don't even agree on date order. When someone says this, in the US it reads as October 11th, 2025. In Europe, it reads as 10th November, 2025. US puts the month first. Europe puts the day first. When you pass non-ISO strings, the browser uses its own locale rules. CodePen here parses dates the US way, so it fails expecting 28 as the month. And here's another common issue. If you pass the month as a number, it starts at 0. But when you pass a string, months use normal human numbering again. So the rule of thumb is simple. Always use ISO format when passing a date string. Now we can move on to the last way to create a date using a timestamp. You can pass a single number to the new date constructor, and it's treated as milliseconds since the Unix Epoch we mentioned earlier. For example, this value corresponds to November 1st, 2025. But why use this strange way of creating dates? Timestamps are everywhere: logs, APIs, databases. They're compact, easy to compare, and perfect for math. If you need to capture this exact moment, you get the timestamp with date now, which will return the date in milliseconds. Then you can convert it back to a readable date like this. Now that we can create dates in a few different ways, let's make them more user-friendly too. So let's format them. Option 1. Using built-in date methods. You can grab parts of the date individually. That gives you a simple format like 30/11/2025. If you want leading zeros, just use pad start. It makes sure the string has at least 2 characters. If not, it adds the 0 to the front until it reaches length 2. Option 2, using toLocaleDateString. This one automatically formats your date based on your region or a locale you specify. You can also pass an options object to control the exact format, things like the weekday name or using long month names. Option 3, using toLocaleString. This one shows both the date and the hour, and it uses the viewer's own region and their local time zone. It's quick and easy for simple local display, but if we need consistency for things like events, logs, or schedules, later in this video, we'll use a more advanced formatter. Now that we can create and format them, let's see how to calculate the time between 2 dates. The easiest way to do it is to subtract one date from another, but that gives you the duration in milliseconds. To turn it into days or weeks, we need some math. To convert milliseconds, you divide by 1000 for seconds, then 60 for minutes, then 60 again to get hours. And to get days or weeks, keep going by dividing by 24, then 7. If you want the difference in months or years, you divide by their average lengths. This becomes useful for things like countdowns, for example, New Year's Eve. We also use math.floor to round the numbers down to whole units. Now let's see what can break all this nice date math, time zones. The same exact moment can look different depending on the time zone. Using toIsoString shows it in pure UTC, while toString shows how Spain interprets the same moment 1 hour ahead, because it's UTC plus 1. Earlier in this video, the date showed the 27th instead of the 28th, because the numeric date constructor uses your local time zone. So when I created a date at midnight on November 28th in Spain, JavaScript converted that to UTC by subtracting 1 hour, which lands on 23 of the 27th in UTC. Whenever you see a timestamp ending with a Z, that means Zulu time, another word for UTC. If you ever need to know how far your local machine is from UTC, JavaScript gives you that directly with getTimeZoneOffset. It returns the difference in minutes, so you can shift between local time and UTC yourself. And then there's daylight saving time, which means your time zone offset might change during the year. This is why the safest long-term strategy is to store and compare everything in UTC, then convert to local time only when displaying dates to users. And don't worry, later in this video we'll look at libraries that handle all this automatically. Before we move on, there's one more built-in tool worth knowing. Earlier, we formatted dates based on the viewer's region, but this API gives you full control. We can keep things simple and format the same moment in different languages. Or we can pass detailed options to control the layout and the time zone. This is ideal for events, schedules, booking systems, or anything that needs consistent formatting across regions. Before we wrap up, let's look at a few libraries that make working with dates much easier. Moment.js used to be the standard, but it's now in maintenance mode, so most developers use one of these modern alternatives instead. Date.js is the lightest one, under 2 kilobytes, and it's similar to Moment.js. We can format dates, parse strings, add or subtract time, compare two dates, and even get differences in units like days or hours. It also has helpers for things like the start or end of a month, which makes date calculations much cleaner than doing them manually with the native date object. Luxon is another modern library for working with dates, and it's built by one of the original authors of Moment.js. With Luxon, we can format dates, parse ISO strings, add or subtract time, and convert the same moment between different time zones using just one line of code. It also has built-in support for daylight saving time and locale formatting, so it handles all the tricky conversions automatically. Use day.js for lightweight formatting and simple date math. Use Luxon when you need accurate time zone support or international formatting. And that wraps up this tutorial. If this helped you make sense of JavaScript dates, take a moment to like the video and subscribe for more tutorials. And if you want to debug smarter with remote logs, crash reports, and real-time error tracking, you can sign up for free at bugfender.com. I'm Alish, founder of Bugfender, trusted by over 35,000 brands to fix bugs faster and build better apps. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.